wonder what life is like on a submarine? Well, we're going to find out because it is the first day of Navy Week here on North Dakota Today.
Speaking of North Dakota, these gentlemen are on U.S. North Dakota Submarine, so we're going to talk about what's happening this week. With us today is Master Chief Anthony Liss and Petty Officers Mark Fisher, Mitchell Brisboe, and Andrew Rose. To all four of you gentlemen, thank you so much for your service. We appreciate it. So I don't think I could do life on a submarine, so I want to hear what's it like, and more specifically, what's North Dakota like, the U.S. Submarine, North Dakota?
Well, Chris, first, we're thrilled to be here. Submarine Force is also called the Silent Service, so we don't get a chance to come out and tell people what we do very often. So for us to get to come here to our home state and tell people about the submarine service, it's amazing. We're glad to be here and looking forward to this whole week of just being able to come out and tell our story and tell people how even when we're 1,000 miles away, hundreds of feet under the ocean, there's still very strong ties that bring us back to the state of North Dakota. Petty Officer Rose here will tell you a little bit about life on board the boat and, you know, kind of what we do, as much as we're allowed to say.
So what's the longest you've been? He said 100 miles under the ocean. That freaks me out in and of itself.
Well, hundreds of miles out to sea, sir, but several hundreds of feet
deep.
Yes, sir.
What's the longest you've been below the surface?
Submerged probably over a month at a time.
What?
Right? So
wow.
we don't surface very often. Once we go out and dive, we kind of stay under the water. That's the whole point, that we're quiet and nobody really knows where we're at. So you know, it gets tough at times because communications are, you know, limited while we're out, and so our wives and our families, they're like, well, when are we gonna get an email or something? So, but you know, what we do is go out where people don't know where we are, and we provide either security or surveillance that our country needs in order to be safe. And so it's a huge honor to be here in North Dakota today, right, representing our boat, USS North Dakota, and, you know, this great state. And so it's awesome that we can, you know, be out here for this Navy Week. It's pretty cool.
I always like Navy Week because I feel like we're in North Dakota. People don't think about sailors or the Navy even, you know, being here in North Dakota. But you guys are all from North Dakota?
No.
I mean, as well, no one's from here that is serving with the Navy?
Not originally. We're just we're representing the USS North Dakota, and
Okay.
so there's one sailor on board that is from North Dakota originally, but he unfortunately could not come out for this week.
Can you take us, as much as you can, inside the sub and tell us a little bit more about, without obviously declassified information, what you're doing in it and what's going on a day-to-day basis?
Well,
they're like, no, we can't talk about it.
all of us here are nuclear trained sailors. So each one of us has an individual responsibility within the propulsion plan of the submarine to provide propulsion for the ship, whether that be generating electricity, operating mechanical equipment, or operating reactor control equipment. Those are the areas that we operate in.
So when you say nuclear trained sailor, what does that mean specifically?
So we are responsible for the nuclear reactor propulsion plant. So all of our submarines have a reactor on board, and so the Navy trains us to run that equipment. And so it's a sustainable energy source, so we don't have to go to the gas station and fuel up every couple of miles. You know, we have a sustainable source on board, which allows us to stay submerged and out to sea for as long as we need to.
So a month under the water. What was the most eye-opening thing when you first got on the submarine, the first time you were submerged, like for just the average person? Because you can't really know what that's like until you do it.
I'd say, so when we're submerged and we're cruising along, it's as still as this room that we're sitting in right now, unless we take an angle or change depth or turn. So then all of a sudden, the floor starts, you know, coming up because we're changing depth or going down, and so it can be a pretty steep angle at times, and so you start, you know, losing your footing, and trying to climb a ladder at an angle becomes a challenge in itself. I'd say that was the biggest adjustment to being on a submarine, but because it's different than a normal boat, you know, going out on the lake and, you know, going for a fishing trip where you just rock a little bit. But so that, and just how close and tight everything is. There's not a lot of room for much of anything, including us.
So the first time you were submerged for a long period of time, and then you came up and like could see the sun, what was that? Were you just like, oh, thank goodness, or what was that experience like?
I mean, you feel it every time. Every time you've been down for a while, you come back up and that breath of fresh air, and just getting away from all that recycled air for a while, it definitely feels nice.
So things are just getting started today. I know in the Valley today we got to hear the band playing. What do you guys have going on the rest of today and the next couple of days that you would like to invite people out to check out?
Well, today, actually, as soon as we leave the studio, we're going to a wreath laying at the USS Robalo. There's a concert tonight at 7 p.m. To kind of kick off Navy Week. And then throughout the rest of the week, we're going to a children's hospital, we're going to the VA, we're having a luncheon with, I think, is it the VFW?
Yes.
We've got a pretty packed schedule, but there's a few holes here and there throughout the schedule where we'll get a chance to go see some of Fargo and a little
Yeah, I
bit
was
of
going to say,
Moorhead.
since you guys are
Yeah.
not from, I thought maybe you guys were from North Dakota as well, because there are sailors from North Dakota, which I find, interesting too. So, well, enjoy Fargo, and hopefully you guys stop back and at least some of you visit with us. I think we
Yeah.
got something planned almost every day here on North Dakota Today, so we're excited to celebrate Navy Week with you guys. Welcome
for
to
being here.
Fargo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.